Hey guys, we're just editing the video and I want to apologize in advance for all the sniffling you hear me doing. My allergies are crazy right now. I'm taking Benadryl and Zyrtec and I'm still eyes watering sniffling. It's terrible, so I apologize.
You repeat after me. I don't give a what?
Welcome back, guys. Happy, as I'm recording this, it's May 4th, which is why I'm wearing the Yoda squat shirt, because it's Star Wars Day, and in our house, it's a holiday. For those of you that don't know, Bob is a retired fighter pilot. His call sign is Porkins. I will have Justice insert a picture here of the actor who played Porkins and my husband, and you will see the amazing similarities, although I think my husband's cuter. So we're reacting to someone who I've been following since she had like 500 subscribers, which she has over 340,000 now. She really just blew up. She just people just really, I feel like they really related to her. And I have liked her. She's just like your best friend from high school. And she's so likable and relatable. And you just feel like she's everybody's friend. So she put a video out yesterday, and when I saw it, my heart sank, because the title of the video is "I was never going to lose weight." And I was like, no, because she always starts a video out, if you know, you know. I am on a journey to lose 100 pounds. And she talks very openly about binge eating disorder. And so many of you know that I will never talk, I'm going to talk about him now, but I will never talk about or react to a full video on Amber Lynn Reed or like Foodie Beauty. They'll never be in my name in my title or anything, because Hater Nation is just, that's not, I just can't do that. I've seen what Ilona has gone through and she handled it like a champ. She's a fucking beast, and she put everybody in their place. I do not want to have to deal with that. That is too much for me. But the reason why I bring them up is because we have all watched Amber Lynn and Foodie Beauty with frustration with these cycles, and everyone has joked about it. But the people who made that cycle chart of all of their, different stages of their health journeys that they started, their weight loss journeys. The thing I really like about B is she, has exercised, and she's shown, she did the Chloe Ting challenge after lockdown came, and, she kept a lot of us entertained, and then like she just bought a house, and so we've watched her buy a house and remodeling the house and doing all that fun stuff, and just, like I said, she's just a relatable girl that we all went to high school with. So when I saw the title of this, I was like, oh my God, no, please don't give up. Please don't leave YouTube. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay, so stay with me for just a second. This may or may not make any sense at all. If it does, great. If it doesn't, disregard. So there was a study done in like the 50s where these scientists took away these baby monkeys from their birth mother. Again, this was in the 50s. What are ethics? No one knows. And they gave these baby monkeys the option to choose between two surrogate artificial mother monkeys that they created. The first option was a lovely mother monkey that was just made of wire, and it had some feed bottles.
My mother? I can laugh about it now, it's fine.
Attached to it. The second option was made of foam and terry cloth and provided no nourishment whatsoever. They found that the little baby monkeys chose option B, the terry cloth comfort monkey, risking starvation over the option that would provide them long-term survival. And so
get the mental picture in your head of how sad that would be.
I was just thinking about this little tidbit of information that I learned from Introduction to Psychology in like freshman year of college. I just extracted it from the depths of my brain hole and was thinking about this at 3 a.m. And I was like, that's exactly what binge eating is to me. It's choosing comfort over logically knowing that there's this option out there that would be more beneficial.
That's tough because, okay, so I was thinking about this last night when I decided that this is what I was going to react to. Sorry that I stopped right there, B. That's a great screenshot. Because I think about when I was at my heaviest and did I have binge eating disorder? And I don't think I ever did. I'm sorry, Apollo. I'm sorry. I don't think I ever did. I didn't have this. I just ate a lot constantly through the day. Like all my meals were very big, but I don't feel like I ever, I've heard of people talking about their binges. My oldest daughter has binge eating disorder, and she's talked to me about some of the binges she's done, and I've even told her, I was like, man, I would just like to see that one time. I know that's horrible, but they're spectacular they're very grand how binges go down. And I never did anything like that. I never ate in secret. So yeah, this is interesting for me.
And that's what today's video is kind of about. I just wanted to kind of come on here and have like a little bit of a kiki, because as you guys know, I've been in therapy for about 3 weeks now, and I have really...
That's the other thing that I appreciate about her versus like Amberlynn and Foodie Beauty is that she's in therapy. Amberlynn and Foodie Beauty talk about getting help. They talk about going to therapy. They talk about having a dietitian, and it never happens. There's no work ever done, and B is over here working her butt off to get help.
Been focusing on the concept of binging, why I do it, where it started, what it does for me, and ultimately ways to minimize it. And so I just kind of wanted to share like the things that I've been thinking about and what I'm going to try in order to like remedy that. So I've came to a couple of realizations. The first being that I am never going to lose this weight.
It makes my heart hurt because I think she can do it. I think she can do it.
And I don't say that in like this hopeless, defeatist way. I'm obviously not going to give up. I mean it in the sense that the way that I have been going about things was never going to result in success. And there was nothing...
So remember, she said the way she was going about it before the therapy, she was never going to have success. So she is hopeful that she's still going to lose the weight. But she's got to work at a different angle.
Wrong with the mechanics of what I was doing. When I was on track, I was on track. I ate balanced meals, I made sure to eat in a caloric deficit, I exercised, I drank my water, and then all of those things at the end of the week would typically result in weight loss. But the way that I was addressing my binge eating was not the best. I kind of went into it with this mindset of, okay, I'm done binging forever. This is never...
This is interesting because I was talking to somebody last night who's in therapy, and she said something very similar that B's going to say.
It's going to happen again. I'm going to just quit cold turkey. Which, looking back on it now, was very naive for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, so to say, I feel like food is such a weird thing because as many times as we've heard Amberlynn say, I have to eat, you do have to eat eventually. And so food is weird because it's not like it's heroin and you can quit and go into treatment and never take heroin again. But having someone who has binge eating disorder and say they're never going to binge again, I can see how that would spin your mind up to be like, now all I want to do is binge because I'm sitting here. It's like you're white knuckling it and going, okay, I can do this. And then you fall off.
Namely, I'm addicted to food. I have been for a very long time. binge eating at this point is a part of my identity. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember. It's something that I definitely picked up in childhood and then used as my sole coping mechanism this entire time. Yay! And at this point, food is definitely
It sucks because I can see where food definitely comforted me. And, you know, I've talked about how high the divorce rate is among people who have weight loss surgery, and then how high substance abuse is among people who have weight loss surgery. Especially if they don't get into therapy immediately, at least I say 1 year post-operatively. You need to start before and then 1 year post-operatively, because you have got to figure out a way to deal with things in a healthy way, not with food or with sex or alcohol or Xanax or gambling or whatever.
a drug to me. I don't get comfort from anything else. So I took a look back on my old videos and trying to figure out where I was at this point in my life and why was I so successful then and then not successful now. And I realize it definitely comes down to stress and what was going on at the time. And every time I've fallen off track, it's been because some kind of life change or external stress. And I'm not going...
And I can see why with a life change it would trigger that. And I hate that word, a trigger, but it could trigger that. Because it kind of throws you sometimes into feeling like you're in a state of chaos. And so you then, it's a way to control, even though you're out of control binging, it's your control. Does that make sense?
Through any of that and like blaming those situations for why I haven't lost more weight or whatever else. I'm simply saying that like I never developed any more coping mechanisms other than the food thing. So when in the past I've been completely depriving myself from that comfort with nothing else set in place, I'm setting myself up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was never going to work.
So that's what I was never going to lose the weight doing what she was doing. So that does make total sense. Yeah, therapy is really great. And I tell people as well, like, don't think that the first therapist you go to, if you don't like that therapist, you can fire your therapist and find a new one. You don't have to stick with the therapist that you see. There should definitely be like a chemistry between the two of you. You need to feel comfortable talking to that person.
It was truly never going to work, and I was very naive for thinking that. So the solution to the problem that my therapist came up with and wants me to try to implement is something called harm reduction. And in my case, it's that I'm allowed to binge. No one's stripping away that comfort from me because it's going to take time to put something else in its place. The whole concept behind harm reduction is just to lessen the blow. So when I do binge, instead of eating 100% of whatever I was going to binge, only eating 75%.
That's interesting. I'm going to have to look into that. I've never heard of that methodology. I mean, I can see, reducing the harm. I mean, you have to start somewhere, right? I mean, I'm definitely not a therapist.
Stopping at that 75 and then immediately going into some other activity that's supposed to bring me comfort. What that is, I'm at a loss because I just don't feel comfort from things that people typically do. I know that sounds really weird to say, but like...
No, it doesn't.
Things
like, I know some of the coping mechanisms that I was taught, were like yoga and deep breathing and journaling and meditation and stuff. And the journaling helps. Talking to somebody who kind of knows what I'm going through or has been through it, that helps. But I doubt you're ever going to find something to replace the bad behavior. Because, like, I know for me, there's nothing in that I've ever taken that, like a Xanax, that brings me down. And, like, I remember the first time I took a Xanax and I told my husband, the fucking house could burn down right now and I wouldn't care. Like, you take it, you just do not care. And then you can go to sleep. And for someone like me who has had insomnia for almost 24 years, sleep's pretty awesome.
taking a bath, taking a walk, petting an animal, spending time with friends and family. I don't really decompress with those activities. You know, of course I'll like pet my dog. Like, I love Doug, I love Chetty, I'll pet them, but it ultimately feels like it's more for them than for me. I don't know, I feel like I can't really say that without sounding like an asshole.
You don't.
But I mean, like, I don't really get anything from it. Like, I feel like I'm doing it for their comfort rather than mine. Mm-hmm. So I'm very curious what you guys do for comfort, how you guys manage stress. Honestly, any suggestion would be awesome.
I mean, I know for me, and this isn't going to be something that maybe resonates with her. And if I don't train, and I'm not saying like I have to be in the gym and deadlifting 400 pounds every day. Like, I don't mean that. Like, just getting to the gym sometimes is enough. And then, you know, Sundays I don't go to the gym, but I'll go walk. Just that physical activity is enough sometimes for me, just to kind of help negate stressful situations or stress feelings.
At this point, I was very stubborn to this concept, honestly. I was like, what the hell? I just want to be cured. But I'm kind of realizing that therapy isn't about someone else giving you the answers. It's about someone else asking the right questions so you could come to the realization yourself and then give yourself the help that you need.
Therapy's hard, dude. And therapy can really super suck. It can really suck because it brings up all this old I mean, I remember when I really first got into therapy was when I was having my weight loss surgery. And the therapist, she reminded me of, do you guys remember E.T.? That ages me. The movie E.T. She reminded me of E.T. She was like a sweet little old lady, but she was like this little tiny shriveled up old lady. And we were talking about my first marriage when I was 18, and that husband used to beat the hell out of me. And I really thought I had done well and that I had just dealt with my, you know, I've gotten through it. I'm divorced. I've moved on. My life was great. I'm so put together now, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, you haven't dealt with that trauma. You have PTSD from it. And I was like, whatever. And then we started dealing with it and I fell apart. That was fun.
Which is annoying. But yeah, so I kind of know what I need to do, and it's exciting because it's something that I've never tried before. So maybe it will actually work. But I kind of wanted to be like upfront and transparent because the amount of physical progress that you see from me probably won't be that much. Not saying that I'm not going to keep trying. I'm just saying that with this new method, it's not really likely, you know, that I'm going to be losing an insane amount of weight, that you're going to see this huge transformation from me. I'm just giving you a heads up. If you want to unsubscribe, totally understand. It's just that I have other...
I just really appreciate this. This is just a breath of fresh air to me because, you know, with a lot of these other channels, Bee's in a class by herself. There's no comparison to Amberlynn and Foodie Beauty. I think we can all agree on that. And that's the thing I wanted to point out was what does it look like when people are really working on themselves? And Bea Caruso is what it looks like when people are working on themselves. And she's being open and honest. And this is what I'm doing. And this, you know, and the other two are sitting around their houses doing pasta Italian mukbangs and having 3-day benders with some guy they met off of Tinder.
There are things that I need to be focusing on. I was thinking about just like quitting YouTube entirely, but I figured...
Don't do that, please. We need you.
I've already been doing this for this long. I've already divulged so much personal information about myself. You know, things that people typically don't talk about in day-to-day conversations. And also, literally everybody I know in real life already knows.
She's a lot of backing. And like I said, you don't go blow up to 341,000 subscribers, you know, if you don't have that ish, you know what I mean?
So I kind of just want to keep going and make this a success story rather than just quitting.
Good.
You know, maybe I can end up helping some people along the way. I get messages every single day from people telling me that my videos help them. Even the ones where I'm failing. And I didn't get that at first. I really didn't.
That just makes me want to cry. Like, that makes me really emotional. Because, I remember talking to some friends. I talked to Ilona. I talked to my trainer about starting the channel. I talked to Paige Sandgren. You guys might see her on Instagram. Her name on Instagram is Beef Nugget. And I remember talking to them about starting my YouTube channel. And I was like, am I really interesting enough to, are people want to hear what I have to say? And like, as of today, we have 420 subscribers, which is like, so cool to me. Like, holy crap, that's awesome, since December. And all I wanted to do was inspire someone, especially women my age. I'm closer to 50 than I am to anything. And a lot of women my age give up. And she's inspired hundreds of thousands of people, obviously. And I think that's one thing that, we can all hope to do. I'm sorry, Apollo. I'm boring you. That we can all hope to do is to inspire and help someone.
It like blew my mind, but I kind of see it now, because it's the same reason I like having a channel. It's the same reason I like kind of divulging my secrets to the internet. It's because I say some random weird nonsense and then people relate to that, or like they have the same experience, and you feel less alone. I'm rambling at this point, but I just wanted to kind of...
She's right, though. I mean, if you can just find the one person that relates to you or you relate to them and it makes you feel less alone, that's gold.
I'll let you guys know what I've been up to. I'm still going to be trying. I'm just going about it a little bit differently. So there's going to be a regular vlog later on in this week, but thank you so much for listening to my ramblings and my weird metaphors about monkeys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Okay, she's adorable. So I'm really excited I think it would be cool if once a week she has a video maybe talking about what she learned in therapy or techniques she's learned. Like, I'm not saying tell us what you talked about in therapy, but maybe here's what I'm learning about this technique or whatever. So I think that's really interesting. Something else was brought to my attention today. Literally, I was on my way to the gym. Someone messaged me and was like, did you see this article on Tess Holiday? And I'm going to have Justice put it up and we'll link it. Tess Holiday came out today and said she's recovering from anorexia. And I'm sure that a lot of people have something to say about that. Now, in the DSM, there is a definition for anorexia and then atypical anorexia. So when most of us think of anorexics, we think of, 90-pound girls that are sacks of bones, right? Well, there is atypical anorexia, which is what she's been diagnosed with. She tweeted and said, I'm anorexic and in recovery. I'm not ashamed to say it out loud anymore. I am the result of a culture that celebrates thinness and equates that to worth. But I get to write my own narrative now. I'm finally able to care for a body that I've punished my entire life, and I'm finally free. I watched Michelle McDaniel, and she had commented, or she did a whole video about Tess really ripping someone a new rear end last week for commenting saying, Tess, you look healthy, basically. And she's like, don't ever comment and say I look healthy, because that's unhealthy to do. It's toxic, which I think is ridiculous. So there's a quote here: anorexia can affect anyone, of course, according to Chelsea Croningold, Associate Director of Communications at the National Eating Disorders Association. People with anorexia generally restrict the number of calories and types of food they eat, resulting in weight loss and sometimes a distorted body image. Though it is important to note, a person does not need to be emaciated or underweight to be suffering from the disease. Atypical anorexia nervosa is a form of anorexia in which the person experiences all the hallmarks of anorexia nervosa, but with weight that is at or above normal range. An individual with atypical anorexia is at risk for the same medical complications as those with low BMI, including cardiovascular and gastrointestinal issues. So I'm going to link the article. I found that interesting. I didn't know if I was going to talk about it in a video, a dedicated video to it. What do you guys think? I'm really interested to see what you guys think of Tess Holiday saying that she is anorexic. And she's been diagnosed with it, so I believe her. So yeah, that's it for today. If you guys see anything you'd like me to react to, like the person who sent me that article on Tess, that would be awesome. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Repeat after me.